All right. I don't know what it's talking about. Something went wrong. Let me check and make sure this thing works. Hello, hello. Let me check. Let me see if this works. Talking about. Did I take out the mic? I don't think. Hello, hello. Ah! It seems like it works. Let me see. View my channel. Okay, it works. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, let me take this earplug out. I did a sound check. All right. I I don't know, man. I ain't. You know what? It's bad when you stream and you can't remember how to stream anymore. I have not, like, I can click the little camera button, you know, but I forgot how to do StreamYard. That's bad. That's how little time I put into it. I haven't done a stream, a live stream in a long time. I haven't done one in a long time. So that means I'm a little bit lost. Just a little bit. That's okay though. I can hear myself, so we'll go with that. Anyhow, um, I just sharing some thoughts. I got some downtime finally. I got a little downtime. Let me see this thing here. What's going on with it? Oh, fidget. Get this thing together. This little microphone. Hey gosh, what have I done? Okay, it's supposed to sit up. Okay, is that right? Let me see. Oh nope, missing parts. It's supposed to sit in this little cradle, but you gotta tuck it in the right way. Let's see here. Yeah, I got it all done now. So the mic is, I just need to tilt it up. There we go. So anyhow, let me move this damn thing over. There we go. So what's on my mind? Uh-oh. Let me, I don't think this is gonna have any implication. Yeah, it shouldn't. So what's on my mind today? I was listening this morning. I was having a good time. I was listening on this channel. And I'm not gonna say anything profound or probably really witty today. I'm just sharing some of my ideas. I was watching this channel and it's called like Coon. Like it's not called Coon, but it's kind of like it's okay. Save yourself, black man. That's the idea. So I'm just trying to explore this. Where do I even begin? Save yourself, black man. So the idea that they have is that you can be different. You don't have to be, what's the word? You don't need to be ghetto and see, I have, it's hard to even talk about this stuff because some of the words are so loaded, you know? This idea of black culture. And this has been my dilemma my whole life. I'm black by color, by commonality of history, but I have admitted as much that I moved to Atlanta hoping to find out and explore and become part of Black culture. Why did I need to do that? Is because I recognize that the culture that I actually have, grew up in, am familiar with, am at home with, is not the typical culture of most Black people who live in America. When you are part on the other side, let me say that. I'm going to say part on the other side. When you are part on the other side, you do know you are different. How do you know you are different? Let me count the ways. It has been the struggle of my life. I always joke that I just can't seem to get away from white folk. I should start by saying that I had to learn to cope with being the only Black all the time. I grew up in a white utopia. There were others like myself. We recognized each other and we were friends. But I have to tell you, you know your otherness. Trust me. No matter how much you Sambo and Coon and Mammy, you're doing that because you know your otherness. You're aware of it. Now, the question is, what do you do with your otherness? What do you do with your otherness? Do you try to imitate Black culture, which you are not familiar with? So you're basically like a fraud. And the people who are of so called Black culture, they recognize the fraud. So you ain't fooling nobody, okay? You ain't fooling nobody. If you're trying to play Black because you are a brown person, you are not fooling anybody. So that's not really a good option. Now you can be what I call the Oreo, where you go full fledged and you pretend yourself into great whiteness, and you look like a fool doing that too, because white folk know your ass ain't white. They know you on the other side part, right? They know. So it's kind of like how people who say they're mixed, they don't belong to the Black side, they don't belong to the white side, they're somewhere in between. Well, let me tell you, when you're brown and you grow up in the a white utopia, you know your ass is on the other side. You know you're different. Now the question is, what do you do with that? Again, do you try to pretend to be Black of Black culture, or do you try to pretend that you is white? And you know you ain't either one of those. So I had this dilemma growing up, being the only Black girl in my class in private school, um, being the only Black on my street. We had another Black family next door, eye doctor, but their son was older, so I didn't even go to school with him. He was high school and I was elementary. Mm, being the only Black riding my bus, just one of few Blacks in the neighborhood. So I think there's only 4 or 5 Black families. I can name them. This has been my dilemma my whole life. So I have to say, I had to turn to an answer, an antidote, a framework, something that would bring dignity. So I was very happy when I came across my brother W.E.B. Du Bois. He's my hero. And the reason why he's my hero is because W.E.B. Du Bois gave me and others like myself a framework from which we could have dignity, pride, and some kind of exception, acceptance, not exception, ex- acceptance of and identity of one's race. And let me tell y'all why that's important. Because the world is not gonna let you pretend that you white because you ain't white. I don't care who you marry, okay? Because some people think that's it. If I marry somebody who white, and this is on both sides, women and men. If I marry somebody white, I'm real white. No, you're not. No, you're not. You still black. Now, do you practice black culture? That's a different question. I'm going through some of my books. I'm looking for my W.E.B. Du Bois because I want to read this shit. Okay. I got all this Deepak Chopra. I got this Krishnamurti. I got all this good stuff. I got who is that? Ralph Ellison. That's not what I'm looking for. Not you, Krishnamurti. Sit your ass down. Where in the hell is my W.E.B. Du Bois? I need my souls of black folk. I need it now. You know what? It's the first chapter. I taught this actually as a teacher. I taught W.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, the debate of race, class, elitism, etc., etc. I see Up from Slavery. I don't want that one. Where in the hell is my W.B. Du Bois? What have I done with you, baby? This is bad because that means I ain't opened it up in a long damn time. But I had relied on this. Let me look. Hold on, y'all. Let me look deeper. Oh, I got to read that book too. I'm not finished with that one. Hold on. I got to get on the ground. I got to go deep. I got to dive in. I need this book. If not, I'm going to go online and read from it what I can gather. Okay. We got Things Fall Apart by Chinua. The Selected Writings of Marcus Garvey. No, not that. Okay. Come on, man. Ah, got it. Ah, I love it. Mm. I love putting my hands on this thing. The Souls of Black Folk. Here it is, a masterpiece. This man gave me the keys to the kingdom. And let me tell you why. Let me do but read it. I know this might be boring to some people, but I got to do it. I got to express myself. After the Egyptian and the Indian, the Greek and the Roman, the Teuton and the Mongolian, the Negro is a sort of seventh son, born with a veil and gifted with second sight in this American world, a world which yields him no true self consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the revelation of the other world. It is a peculiar sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. One never feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder. The history of the American Negro is the history of this strife, this longing to attain self consciousness, manhood, to merge his double self into a better and truer self. It is this merging he wishes neither of the older selves to be lost. He would not Africanize America, for America has too much to teach the world and Africa. He would not bleach his Negro soul in a flood of white Americanism, for he knows that Negro blood has a message for the world. He simply wishes to make it possible for a man to be both a Negro and an American without being cursed and spit upon by other fellows, without having the doors of opportunity closed roughly in his face. This then is the end of his striving to be a co worker in the kingdom of culture, to escape both death and isolation, to husband and use his best powers and his latent genius. These powers of body and mind have in the past been strangely wasted, dispersed, or forgotten. The shadow of a mighty Negro past flits through the tail of Ethiopia, the shadowy and I'm sorry, the shadower, and of Egypt, the Sphinx. Through history, the powers of single black men flash here and there like falling stars and die sometimes before the world rightly gauged their brightness. Here in America, in a few days since the emancipation, black man's turning hither and thither in hesitant and doubtful striving has often made his very strength to lose effectiveness, to seem like absence of power, like weakness. And yet, it is not weakness. It is the contradiction of double aims. The double aim struggle of the black artisan. On one hand, to escape white contempt for a nation of mere hewers of wood and drawers of water, and on the other hand, to plow and nail and dig for poverty stricken horde who only, could only result in making him a poor craftsman. For he had but half a heart in either cause. But the poverty and ignorance of his people, the Negro minister or doctor, was tempted toward quackery and demagoguery. And but and by the criticism of the other world towards ideals that made him ashamed of his lowly task. The would be black savant was confronted by the paradox that the knowledge his people needed was a twice told tale of his white neighbors, while the knowledge which would teach the white world was Greek to his own flesh and blood. The innate love of harmony and beauty that set the rudder souls of his people a dancing and a singing raised but confusion and doubt in the soul of the black artist. For the beauty revealed to him was the sole beauty of a race which has larger audience despised. And he could not articulate the message of another people. This waste of double aims, this seeking to satisfy two unreconciled ideals, has wrought sad havoc with the courage and faith and deeds of 10,000 people, has sent them often wooing false gods and invoking false means of salvation. And at times has even seemed about to make them ashamed of themselves. Away back in the day of bondage, they thought to see in one divine event the end of all doubt and disappointment. Few men ever worshiped freedom with half much unquestioning faith as did the American Negro for 2 centuries. To him, so far as he thought and dreamed, slavery was indeed the sum of all villainies, the cause of all sorrow and the root of all prejudice. Emancipation was the key to the promised land of sweeter beauty than ever ever stretched before the eyes of the wearied Israelites. In song and exhortation, I'm reading too close, swelled one refrain, liberty. In his tears and curses, the God had he implored had freedom in his right hand. At last it came suddenly, fearfully like a dream. With one wild carnival of blood and passion came the message of his own plaintive cadences. Shout, O children, shout, you're free, for God has brought you liberty. Years have passed away since then 10, 20, 40 years of national life, 40 years of renewal and development, and yet swarthy spectre sits in its accustomed seat at the nation's feet. In vain do we cry out our vastest social problems. What I want to do is I'm going to skip, but this part that I read at the beginning is very important. The two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings. Let me start here. Between me and the other world, there is ever unasked question, unasked by some through feelings of delicacy, by others through the difficulty of rightly framing it. All nevertheless flutter around it. They approach me with a half hesitant sort of way, eye me curiously and compassionately, and then instead of saying it directly, how does it feel to be a problem? They say, I know an excellent colored man in the town, or I fought at Mechanicsville, or do these southern outrages make your blood boil? And then, at these I smile or am interested and reduce the boiling to a simmer as the occasion may require. To the real question, how does it feel to be a problem? I seldom answer a word. And yet, being a problem is a strange experience, peculiar even for one who has never been anything else, save perhaps in babyhood and in Europe. It is in the early days of the rollicking boyhood that the revelation first burst upon me, all in a day, as it were. I remember well when the shadows swept across me. I was a little thing, way up in the hills of New England, where the dark Houstonic winds between the Hoosac and the Taconic to the sea. In a wee wooden schoolhouse, something put it into the boys and girls' heads to buy gorgeous visiting cards, 10 cents a package, in exchange. The exchange was merry till one girl, a tall newcomer, refused my card, refused it peremptorily with a glance. Then it dawned upon me with a certain suddenness that I was different from the others, and like mayhap and hard in life and of longing, but shut out from their world by a vast veil. Let me read that again. Then it dawned upon me with a certain suddenness that I was different from the others, or like mayhap and hard in life and longing, but shut out from their world by a vast veil. When I first read this, my heart danced. My heart leaped. And the reason why is because I know exactly the experience. Um, I am not a coon. I am not a coon. I have a hard time even defining what a coon is. Maybe I am actually a true coon, a true one, not imitation, because I truly don't have black culture. It's something I am trying to learn the best of it that I can. Growing up in a white utopia did not give me a black identity. I knew I was brown. I knew my family was brown. I knew people were white, majority, but I did not know what blackness was. I still don't know what blackness is. I had, I would say, at that time, an identity crisis. Just like him, when I read this, I remember so many situations where people around me, predominantly white people, held a mirror and they let me know, never let me forget, yes, you're similar, but somehow you're different. You're not us. I never rejected that. I never tried harder to be us. I fell into, I would say, a self preservation mode. Ah, you're right. I'm not like you. I'm better than you. Correct. This is where my parents and the other blacks that I grew up around, the small group of us, this is what we did. We were extra snobbish, extra, extra. Let me read a little more to explain. I relate to W.E.B. Du Bois. And this was my, I think, saving grace because I grew up around and with black people who had such high self esteem, well founded high self esteem because they were extremely accomplished black people. Their pride, they wore it like a badge. I'm not you, I'm better than you. This is the attitude they call a petit Negro. This is what I decided to embrace because this is what the people around me who are brown embraced. Uppity Negro, not coon. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I don't want to be you. I'm simply better than you. And I think it's true. Here we go. Okay, let me go back down. I had thereafter no desire to tear down that veil. No desire to tear down that veil. That's powerful. That vast veil. I had thereafter no desire to tear down that veil, to creep through. I held all beyond it in common contempt and lived above it in a region of blue sky and great wandering shadows. Notice he said, I live above it. This is a whole different dynamic. Instead of begging for acceptance, I simply look down upon you and allow you to look up upon me. Big difference in mentality. I do not, do not understand coonhood. The sky was bluest when I would beat my mates at examination time, or beat them at a foot race, or even beat their stringy heads. Notice that his performance, his motivation is to prove to himself and the world that I am better and to maintain that status with evidence. Notice that. Notice the sky was bluest when I could beat my mates at examination time, or beat them at a foot race, or even beat their stringy heads. Alas, with the years and all this fine contempt began to fade, for the words I longed for and all their dazzling opportunities were theirs, not mine. But they should not keep these prizes, I said. Some, all, I will wrestle from them. Just how would I do it? I could never decide. By reading law, by healing the sick, by telling the wonderful tales that swam in my head, some way. With other black boys, the strife was not so fiercely sunny. Their youth shrunk into tasteless sycophancy, or into silent hatred of the pale world about them and mocking distrust of everything white, or wasted itself in a bitter cry. Notice the difference, the struggle versus the Adonis. He became the Black Adonis. He embodied all that they had strived and desired to be. He became that in his greatness to be worshipful. I love it. Outrun them, out education them, outwork them, out business them. Be best. Be best. Why did God make me an outcast and a stranger in mine own house? This is interesting. The shades of the prison house closed round about us all. Walls straight and stubborn to the whitest, but relentless, narrow, tall, and unscalable to sons of night who must plod darkly on in resignation, or beat unveiling palms against the stone, or steadily, half hopelessly, watch the streak of blue above. And this is when he goes into the part about after the Egyptian and Indian and the Greek and the Roman, the Teuton, and the Mongolian, the Negro is a sort of seventh son, born with a veil and gifted with second sight in his American world, a world which yields him no true self consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the revelation of the other world. It is a peculiar sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder. Deep shit. So I want to say that my brother W.B. Du Bois, he gave me the framework. He gave me an understanding. I have another book here. It's called I'm Still Here. This book is very good. It's called Black Dignity in the World Made for Whiteness. Lord have mercy. Austin Channing Brown. This book right here sung to my soul. This is my second Bible when it comes to blackness. W.E.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folk, he taught me to give voice to what I was experiencing, what I was feeling, being brown in America, and I ain't black by culture. How do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? I can't be a coon in the way and don't desire to be a coon in the way that I hear these brothers. They have to try, they have to work at it. They have to they have to learn the other culture. They got to try to get in tune to the other culture. I am in the opposite situation. I am from the other culture and I am trying to understand what blackness is as an outsider because I'm not inside. And that has been the struggle of my life. And I can't get away from white folks. Everywhere I go, here they are. And no matter where I turn. And why is that? Why is that the curse? And I just mean physically. Like every time I turn around, the situation is pulling me back towards whiteness. And I try as I might, but it's so natural to me. And I say whiteness, I'm not talking about all white people. I'm talking about a certain strand of American culture, white, upper, educated, middle class, certain mentality, white. That is what I am used to. And no matter how much I try, no matter how hard, it's very difficult for me to get out of that. When I choose a college, an education, I end up over there, back on the other side. No matter what I do, I applied to Spelman, but I ended up at the big pussy, also known as Agnes Scott. Why does that happen? Why? Because it's innate to me. As much as I try to push away, I am attracted to that shit because it's what I know. It's where I'm comfortable, truth be told. I be fighting myself. I got these long dreadlocks. I'm a chocolate drop. I'm a black girl magic. But I end up over there at the big pussy and not over there at Spelman. How does this keep happening to me? I go to graduate school. I end up being, I remember the white guy in the class says to me, I'm the only, again, black in the graduate school. How I end up over there? Again, the only Negro in the sea of whiteness. It just keeps happening to me. My poor child, just like me, is going to school in a predominantly white area. It just keeps happening. Again, I am involved in the school culture and I am the only Negro. It keeps happening. Why? I'm old enough to look and understand. It's what I'm used to. It's what I know well. It's what I'm comfortable with. And you are attracted to what you're comfortable with. Even though on the surface, you know that ain't what you're trying to do. So this coon shit is funny to me. Trying to learn how to be that. Trying to learn how to be on the other side. I can't get my ass away from the other side. And again, I'm not talking about old regular ass white people because what's regular white people in America is poor white people. That's the majority. I ain't talking about them. And that ain't the same culture. I don't know nothing about that shit. I'm talking about educated, nice income, comfortable, middle class value, white America. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. These white suburban utopias where everything is just so, where everything is planned, right? Stability, structure, order, patterns. Stick to it. Don't divert the formula for the American dream. This is what the fuck I know. That strand of whiteness is what I grew up in, this white utopia, the other side. But I keep finding myself crossing over. I can't seem to move from it. And the thing is, it's so many layers to this shit. So when I hear these guys and they're like, I'm a coon, and I was listening to the guy and he was saying, you got to learn how to go river rafting. You got to learn how to zip glide. You got to learn how to fish. You got to garden. And, he was describing all this shit. And I'm sitting there like, you got to learn that? I'm listening like, you gotta learn that. I'm learning now. I'm not judging. So all of that stuff, you gotta listen to so and so, listen to music that's not black. I'm like, wow, these folks is trying to learn what the fuck I already am part of because I'm on the other side and I'm actually trying to understand the other side, right? But they gotta learn this shit. And I just find it very interesting. I honestly swear, I don't know what kind of background these guys are from, but they're clearly not from white utopias. So it's like they've come to adulthood as I guess having come from so-called black culture, and they're looking at it and they're judging their past and their community and their family, and they're looking at all of that and they're like, yuck, I don't want no parts of it. That's what they're doing. And so what they're saying is like, oh, look over there on the other side. There's these white people, and white people listen to this music, and white people do this, and white people do that. And they're painting it as whiteness, and they're trying to be coons so they can get closer to that. But W.E.B. Du Bois would argue that if you are a black Adonis and you embody greatness, then you don't need to be white. You don't need to imitate whiteness. That's not what me or the community of black folks, the small amount that was there, that's not what we did. I am better than you. I will beat you at everything. I don't want to be you. I beat you because I'm naturally better because I'm black. And see, that's the thing. If you come from the ghetto, if you come from these uh socioeconomically struggling kind of backgrounds, I think you can actually see the gift of the talent and the creativity of blackness in and of itself. I did not grow, I'm creative as fuck, right? And it's not because I grew up around rap music or I grew up, it's something innate in me. And I'm telling you, it has something to do with my blackness. There's some kind of soul, some kind of creativity. It's there. Don't fucking question me. I ain't got no scientific nothing to prove it. But I'm telling you, I ain't grew up in none of that. I ain't got no struggle I can rap about. I ain't got no crying and oh, I was down in the hood. I don't got nothing. I don't got no victory speech because I came from the bottom. I don't got it. I came from privilege. I would say a group of elitist black folk where I come from, which is majority white, we stuck together and we had a symbiotic kind of relationships with white people. There was no struggle and stress because socioeconomically we were pretty much the same. But yeah, I grew up listening, like going skating, listening to Bon Jovi and Metallica and shit. I love grunge music. I listen to like mostly white music, Iceland music, German music. I love rock. I love heavy metal and band. I mean, I used to hang out at UGA at the Georgia Theater. I take my shoes off just like them. I didn't think none of it. I'd be the only Negro in there. Whatever metal band was playing, I'm like, "Da, da, da, da." I'm in there. I'm loving it. That's my shit. That's what I know. I don't know nothing about no damn NWA. I know who they are, but I ain't feeling that shit. I don't know nothing about no damn drugs. I don't know nothing about no crack. I don't know nothing about no drive-by, all this stupid shit. I can't relate. You know, I'd be the biggest motherfucking fraud if I sit here and try to act like, I had to almost study so-called black culture, as people call it, to understand what the fuck it is. And yeah, I mean, do movies and all that kind of shit. I collect data. I can assimilate to understand enough what it is. I change my own speech pattern as well, because I can code switch now. I used to talk like a straight white girl. And maybe I'll do a slideshow one day and I'll show you what I'm dealing with. I got pictures of me at 5 years old in a little ballerina tutu, and I'm the only Negro. I got pictures of my birthday party, just a crowd of white folk, nobody but my little black ass in the middle. This is what the fuck I know. I don't know nothing else. So when I hear people talking about I'm a coon, I'm like, why is that necessary? That's kind of weird. You got to learn how to go zip glide. Man, I've been doing that shit. That ain't nothing new. Y'all motherfucking 40 just discovering shit. You know, whitewater rafting, like that's a big deal. I'm like, we've been doing that shit. When I was a child, all this stuff, Girl Scouts. I had a whole Girl Scout troop. I'm the only black. But yeah, we're camping. I created a black campers group because every time I go camping, ain't no niggas out there. I'm like, damn, where the black folks at? Don't nobody black camp. I had to create a black campers group. And then that became a problem because these Negroes talking about I want to come for the day, but I'm scared to be out here at night. What the fuck is wrong with you? Camp, fool. Camp. That don't mean day camp. What kind of crap is that? Scariness. Black folks, and that's what I'm saying. I've learned stuff like that. I'm not afraid of bugs and snakes. I'm a snake. I'm a trained snake handler. Okay. Like I said, I keep crossing the other side. When I was in graduate school, I spent a summer at a nature preserve. And part of that was we had lots of snakes, reptiles. And so I had to get certification and training on how to handle snakes. I know how to get the snake out and hold the snake. And when the snake bite might be about to do some shit wrong, I got all that, right? And I also had grew up in Arizona, so I had snake training for survival purposes there. But my point is, I went to a camp and I was the only black person come out in Athens during graduate school. And I am holding a snake. Do you know how weird I come to understand that that would be for a black woman to hold the snake, to be able to allow the snake to move on her arm and on her neck and stuff? This is what I'm saying. A lot of this stuff is so-called black culture, and people have a lot, and I admit I can see it in black, it's so-called black culture. A lot of black people have a lot of things they just don't want to do, they scared of getting dirty. They don't want to, like, I don't have nails, I cannot have nails. How can I have nails? Because I'm out here digging and doing projects and hammering and moving stuff and dyeing things, and I'm cooking, and I'm doing arts and creative stuff and digging in the dirt, hammering stuff, pulling weeds. I have to have my nails free. I can't do that kind of stuff. Like having acrylic nails, that would be like torture to me. That acrylic nail shit, that would be fucking torture to me. Because I have to use my hands. I have to knead the dough. I have to be able to clean and do certain stuff. I can't do no nails. And I'm not saying that's a black or white thing, but this whole idea that sisters don't want to touch, deal with spiders and bugs, and we gotta act stupid. I grew up with spiders and bugs. I grew up catching stuff, having all kind of different pets, handling snakes, being in nature, being part of nature. My family, myself, my father, all have had gardens. We have a garden culture in my family. I think it's weird when motherfuckers don't have a garden. So this whole idea of being a coon is kind of like, to me, they're trying real hard and it looks like a struggle to me. I find it fucking funny, honestly. They got to try real hard. I'm not dissing when I'm saying this, but they got to go get a white woman to prove that they're like arriving. That's interesting. That's interesting to me. See, water seeks its own level. I'm from the suburbs and I come from a certain, I'm not, let me be clear too. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm some elitist bitch from a billionaire. No, I'm just saying middle class values, coming from a certain socioeconomic background with a certain socioeconomic mentality. We believe in pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, believe in being responsible, believe in putting order in your own life, being a master planner, being the captain of your own ship, having order, having a sense of dignity. This is where I come from. This is the what I know. And all of that shit that they call black culture, I am becoming aware of it as an adult, but I don't relate to none of that shit. This shit they call in black culture, I don't relate and I can't. I have to study to understand, right? I got to lean in to try to listen, to make it kind of make sense. But they got to try so hard to not be that which they have been. I think that's interesting. I don't have to go find a white man for me to fulfill my destiny in the space and place in which, in the status I was born in. I don't have to. You know what I do? I find a black man who is of the same status and mentality, because we have the similar socioeconomic background. He's burbs. I'm burbs. We match. We match real good. And anybody who knows anything about the middle class birds, we some boring motherfuckers. Okay. We born and stable as hell. We real motherfucking functional. Right? We on some death till death do us part type shit. We a little different. Okay. We different. And I managed, God bless me, I managed to find myself a black community here in Atlanta, because there's lots of Negroes here that fits my style. It's all black and we all the same. We think the same. Now, I don't know what black background these folks all come from, right? I don't know. But I do know they're middle class, upper middle class black people. They're all professional people. They all have that sense of order. They all are, you know, into gender roles and appropriateness of life and planning one's life and doing things with order. That's the neighborhood I'm in. We got so many motherfucking black Karens over here. We be competing, okay? Soon as we see something we don't like, we over here correcting shit because the community got to be right. It's got to be appropriate, right? That's what I'm used to. So I don't have to stress and struggle to try to be on the other side. And I just say the other side. I don't want to say white. Just the other side. That particular sliver, that particular standard. I'm not struggling there. And so I just find it very interesting that they think that they have to marry someone from the other side to prove themselves to be better than a typical Negro. That's so strange to me. I guess they had not considered that it's possible that you could be black and brilliant and truly just be brown and amazing and then still be from the other side. And when I say from the other side, I'm saying that little slither of life. I don't mean white because white don't own none of that. We got 1,000 hillbillies out here, 1,000 rural white people. They ain't got no more in common with them white folks I'm talking about. The professional, socioeconomically middle class striving American dream, white middle class. Them other white people, the other 70%, no shit, it's 80%. The other 80% of white people in America don't got shit in common with me or the people that I come with from the other side. They don't got shit in common. We don't got nothing in common. It ain't about white. I need to come up with a word. I'm just gonna say the other side. That's all I can tell you is the other side. It's a particular mentality and sense of structure and order. I call it white utopia because I don't know what else to call it. It best fits what I'm describing. Middle class white. Let me say that middle class white utopia. Them other white folks, these bumblefucks living out in the middle of sticks and woods, uneducated and foolish, they got nothing in common with this middle class white utopia that I come from. I can't relate to them motherfuckers either. I can't relate to the ghetto. I can't relate to the mentality that I see among black people. And I'm talking about the average black person. And what I have done in my life is wrong, maybe, but I have isolated myself from all of those other types. I only deal with my socioeconomic bracket. Black people who are striving and doing well as fuck. That's who I deal with. I deal with white, educated, upper middle class minded people. That's it. I don't fuck with nobody else. I don't. I don't want to because I can't relate. Their foolishness annoys me. Their sense of lack of structure is irritating. I don't fuck with them. I mean, at all. I don't got no conversation because, and I've done that in the past. I came to Atlanta and I tried to mix with certain type of people, and I just like, yeah, everything about you is just disgusting. And I'm not trying to be. I'm not being classist here. I'm just telling you it ain't no fit. Ain't no fit. It's not no fit because like I had a coworker, and of course, at work, you're gonna come in contact, even in a professional setting, you're gonna come in contact with people who um you just don't see eye to eye with because your outlook. I have a coworker. Matter of fact, she called me not long ago, and she was, hemming and hawing. We don't talk that often. We were cool when we were working together, but she was hemming and hawing about her two sons and how they getting on her nerves. And she wants me to listen to this shit. And there I go back to my what? In my mind, my mindset, I'm in my middle class white utopia American dream mindset. This is my default setting. So as she's talking, I'm sitting here like, this is some black trash conversation, and I'm not finna have it. I don't want to have this conversation. And I have alerts that go off black trash, black trash. It can go off white trash, white trash. I got no tolerance for either one. Poverty mentality, I got nothing for you. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care what culture you come from. If you talking trash culture, get the fuck away from me. Like, just there's nothing to be said. You gonna annoy me, and I don't want to be annoyed. Okay. So she starts telling me, "Oh my, my adult sons, they came back home and this and that." Who are you lying to? First of all, I know that oldest son you got ain't never left. So what you mean they came back? You got two grown ass sons. That first one ain't never went nowhere. He 40 and he got a grandchild. Believe it or not. And your younger one who has two kids just came back and he's 30. So you got two grown ass, big ass black men in your house, and now you talking about how they getting on your nerves. Well, guess what? I'm not. See. That's what I'm saying. That's why we can't have this conversation. Cause guess what? That means you failed. You failed. You shouldn't have no two grown ass black men who have children and grandchildren in your house. You failed, and I don't want to have that conversation with people. See, because they call that judgment. That's not how the pattern of productivity works. You raise your children, you give and invest and do everything you can for them. You support them. You make sure they're educated and they're able and well raised and they have an orderly life. And then you send them off either into a business, ready to inherit a business or start a business, or you send them off to school so they can mature and grow leadership skills, learn and develop, and expand themselves through networking. And hopefully, somewhere in there, they get married and they build together. Hopefully, neither one of your kids did that. They both got children out of wedlock. Why are we talking about? I don't want to talk about it. This is a black trash conversation. You fucked up on so many levels. And you can't tell people stuff like that. That's why it's best just don't talk to people who you don't have stuff in common with, because the judgment is coming. I can't see anything else but you created a bed and you should lie in it. Don't complain about your grown ass children, because it's probably that you didn't read to them enough, you didn't give them leadership skills, you didn't expose them to life, you didn't guide them, you didn't tell them what's right, what's wrong. And so now you end up with two grown ass, big ass, black ass men in your house, 40 and 30 with children, and now you can't get a house of your own and you didn't basically retire. It's not my problem. Me and you won't have the same problems. I'm not judging, I'm just saying this is an example of how when you have a certain mentality you can't mix and mesh with other people because it's conflict. Now on the flip side, I have so many friends of my choosing, my selection. We on the same vibe. And we are, for the most part, have been a childless bunch for a very long time. And I'm ashamed to say, all of us are fucking dealing with babies and elementary school children while we're in our mid to late 40s and 50s. Isn't that crazy? But we have planned too well. We have planned too well. Yeah. And that's what happens. So, oh man, I can't think of how many of my friends are still childless, married for years, married 20, 15 years, no children, probably won't, striving, working. It's not, I don't think it's ideal, but everybody got to do their own thing. But the rest of us, we're all, all of us. I mean, we all, each of us women of my friends, our circle, we all got fertility stories because our asses wanted to be educated and travel the world and do all these grandiose, wonderful things and collect degrees and move and strive and do all of these things, amazing stuff. But at the end of the day, we all end up paying a lot of money for babies, just one, because you ain't got room for two or three. So here we are. But we pour into our children. That's all I can tell you. We pour into our children. We want our children. They're intentioned. They're born into marriages. They're born into houses. We're retiring while we having our children in the elementary school. It is what it is. Water seeks its own level. So I have found my place in Black America that's made sense for me. I do not desire to be a coon because a coon comes a begging for approval. See, I am from a white utopia, a middle class white utopia. And that only allowed me to see the greatness of my blackness, my brownness. And I don't have black culture. I'm just better than you. I grew up that way. All of us grew up that way. And so I find this coon thing, this begging and needing appreciation and what is it? Acknowledgement and claiming like I'm graveling for whiteness. I find it very, very strange. And it's just I like listening to them because I'm realizing how much of me and what I think I took for granted that I already know and have because I grew up on the other side. I find the coons so interesting, striving, trying really hard to be that. It's interesting. Interesting as fuck. That's all I can say. It's very fucking interesting. And yeah, and I don't know. I've made peace with it. I think moving to Atlanta helped me make peace with um this thing, this white utopia. And it's crazy because it's like I'm watching my own daughter in my footsteps and I'm like on one end of it I'm like, yes, this is what I need for her. She will be fine. She will overcome like I have, and it's going to be okay. And honestly, she can't have it any other way. There is no other option as far as I can see. I trust me, before she started going to school, I considered it all. Oh, the people around here is socioeconomically this, that, that. No, 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 no. The mentality ain't exactly because I grew up like that. I didn't learn it. I grew up like that. The mentality of these folk, they look the part, they seem to act the part, but when it comes to the children, that's where I see the difference. Let me explain. The type of school that I am expecting or used to is a type of school that does fundraising, thousands and thousands of dollars, and parents give freely. And that's what I'm saying. I got to sign up for that. That's not going to happen in this area. Yes, everybody's professional. Yes, these folks, it's two folks who are professional making, more than 150,000 on average here. Yes, you know, people are established, people vacation. They got the I'm not driving a Mercedes 'cause I think that's dumb. If you can't buy that shit cash, you don't need it. But these folks drive Lexus, Mercedes. They got the look. You know what I'm saying? They got the look, they got the degrees, they got all that. But the mentality that I'm really searching for, what I know to be ideal, that shit ain't happening out here. I don't even need to go over to these schools to find that out. I already know. I already know. They ain't got no koi pond. They don't got no greenhouse. I already know. They don't got no outdoor gardens. They're not gonna have all these different resources. It's not gonna happen. My parents had to put me in predominantly white schools in a white neighborhood in a white county for me to have access to the resources. I'm sorry. Even in Atlanta, the best black school ain't shit to the most whatever white basic school in a middle class suburb. It ain't the same. The resources ain't the same. The quality teachers ain't the same. The parent engagement, that's the part. The parent engagement. The PTA is supposed to be a gang. You hear me? The PTA is supposed to be gang. These motherfuckers over here, they too busy working to go to the PTA. I can't fool with them. I'm on call. I'm on call. What y'all need? Just tell me what you want. Room parent. You see what I'm saying? We got room parents. They probably don't even have that shit at the elementary school around here. People too busy. Worry about money. Worry about materialism. Mm-mm. I can't tell. I can't. Mm-mm. I need the PTA to be a motherfucking gang. And boy, the PTA is a gang. Okay. At the school that I drive 20 miles to take my child to. Yes, 20 miles to the white folk neighborhood. The PTA is a gang. They came in and they said, "Oh, we don't like new principal. We came in. We don't like this. We don't like that. That." Mm-mm. When I say that school has been through a simple renovation, anytime they point and look and say we don't like, that's what I'm talking about. Your tax dollars are at work. You make the public school better than the private school when the PTA is a gang. And I don't mean gang like a negative thing. I'm talking about gang like they got a mission and they work together. We got all these committees. Everybody's doing stuff, highest quality. We just raised $25,000 in 3 fucking days. All the parents go to Emory University. They're professors. They are academics. Okay. Highly educated environment, high income. We have trees over Atlanta come and they show our children how to plant trees, stuff like that. We have science buses coming. We pay for that shit. We got science buses coming. They got like beakers and shit, and they're doing experiments in science. They got tech labs on wheels that come through. We got all kind of high tech shit. We pay for it. Our kids go on so many field trips, and guess who be on each one? That's my ass. They're going looking at the stars and shit, right? They're getting exposure. They're getting the best education. The student to teacher ratio is low and very good quality, high quality teachers. Everything. Let me tell y'all something. I told the principal last year, I said, you know what I don't like? And the reason why I'm concerned is because the school's in predominantly white community. And I'm sorry to tell y'all this, but I gotta be honest. White men can be dangerous as hell. Okay. And I say that because they have a tendency to decide they want to get mad and go to a local elementary school and cut a fool. You know what I'm talking about? And so, because I have that concern and that fear, I said, you know what? I need to raise my concern and tell the principal that I believe they need to design. Oh, I didn't even say design. I said, y'all need to get a police officer up here to watch this door. Cause see, these white folk, they too happy. They open the door. How you doing today? Good morning. And they open the door for everybody. Man, fuck that shit. I don't like all this happy open the door for people because they happen to look like they want to come in. I ain't with that shit. I've seen it too many times. They open the door for me, and I'd be like, nah, see that right there. That could be Billy Bob that's mad and he want to come in and shoot up the place. See, y'all too friendly around here. I told the principal that. So I'm a little concerned. And if I had been in black school, I don't really think I would have been thinking like that. This is predominantly white school in a white neighborhood, so it comes to my mind. And I told her, I came to the PTA meeting and I said, one thing I would like to change, excuse me, is this front door. How about the beginning of the school year? I told her at the end of the school year last year. And I raised my concerns and I told her about, I gave her a presentation. I ain't do too much. I just gave her a good presentation and some scenarios, right? How about this school year? I go up to the school, for open house. And first thing I see, they didn't change the whole motherfucking entrance. They done knocked out a whole wall and put the glass wall in. They done took the doors and made like what do you call it? A doorbell system where nobody can open it from the inside or the outside without the button being pushed. And they have a person who's facing the goddamn doorway. So you got to go into the first door and there's a what do you call it? There's a what do you call it? Like a visual video camera there. There's a video camera there. And they got to buzz you in the first time. Then when you come into the middle section before the next double door, that's where they knocked the goddamn wall out and they put a whole window right there. They can see you from the top to the bottom, baby. They can check your ass out. And that's the second stage to come in. And then the door's still locked. They gotta buzz your ass in. I said, see, that's what I'm fucking talking about. And just 2 days ago, the principal announced that they have now hired a full-time security staff. Thank you, Miss Freeman. Thank you very much. I will bow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, and involved and concerned parent. I care about all the little children. We need safe schools. So because I raised my concern, but see, if I had been in a black school, I'm just being honest with y'all. Dude, this is some real shit. I ain't being no coon. Had I been in a black school and said that shit, and see, when you say stuff publicly, it may have some merit too, because you got all the mother parents like, that's true. Mm-hmm. You got people also on the principal advisory committee. Mm-hmm, that's true. Well, no problems. So if you ain't saying no stupid shit, people hear you well. You don't want to be the school that didn't spend a little extra money, right, on security. You don't want to be that one when you got all this money. These motherfuckers got a lot of money. Okay, got a lot of money. Raised $25,000 in 3 days, and I went out there. I got out there with my little pom poms. I was cheering for the fundraiser, cheering. I got was it purple and white pom pom, just going go go go. You know, I volunteer a lot. I'm involved. I'm engaged. It's a lot of us who volunteer and we're involved and engaged. We have art auctions for our own fucking children. Can you believe that? That's how they raise money. Our children paint some shit. The art teacher sends it to this company. They put it in a frame. They sell it to our ass for $55, $75 online. Some high tech shit, ain't it? Yeah. Grandma get a copy. Uncle get a copy. Everybody get a copy. School made $150, $200 real quick. But you know what? Black school, black. I ain't finna buy my child's art. Why would I buy my child's art? It's a fundraiser, fool. We raise money. And the teachers don't have to want for nothing. Do you know how many boxes of shit we bring in? Them teachers have more than $250 worth of requirements to bring into the classroom. We be bringing 3 to 4 boxes. They want paper. They want this. And they got the nerve to tell you which brand to bring. They don't be playing that generic shit. Okay. And we be bringing it. And we keep bringing it. We got parents that bring snacks for the whole class for the whole goddamn year. You know? Got resources. I like that shit. That's how it's supposed to be. And if you can find a public school where the parents run the damn show and they're actively involved, the PTA and the principal work hand in hand. You talking about some powerful shit. The resources go to those schools because the parents and the principals approach the folks who have the money at the school district and the money gets spent. I know I'm on the right side of the fucking road, okay? Hell no, my daughter can't go to school over here. You say what you want to say about me. Hell no. Hell fucking no. Probably ain't had a PTA meeting in forever and then don't nobody damn be there. Hell no, I ain't doing it. I can't. I won't. Never. I'm on the other side. You say what you want to say. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm brown. I'm proud to be my kind of black. Can't say I know what so-called black culture is, but I know I don't like no trash culture. I don't like no ghetto culture. I ain't got no tolerance for it. Black, white, whatever, all that poverty mentality, get the fuck away from me. We can't talk, we can't hang, we can't be around each other. I don't deal with none of that. And that's part of like I think that's partly like why my life is so boring, right? Because I don't have struggle and strife. I don't deal with crazy, like, people be, some of the stuff I hear people say about, oh, somebody, I don't have friends and associates that ain't where I'm at. Like, none of my friends are ever going to be in a situation like, man, I'm having a hard time and I need to borrow some. What? Like that kind of shit. I'm talking about, I listen on YouTube and I hear people talking about stuff and I just be like, ooh, how you say, ooh, brother, what's that? I be like, how do you be around people that be asking for money and borrowing? How? Like, why? Why would you want to know them? I'm not snobbish because I'm not rich. I'm just saying it's a sense of order, right? It's a sense of order. And God understands that you can be up today and down tomorrow. So I don't take that for granted. All I'm saying is people who have no order, I don't have no space for them in my life. People who don't have the sense to get your ass up and get out here and get something. Be focused. You know what I'm saying? Be productive. Do some shit that matters every day. And like just laziness, I cannot tolerate laziness. People who are unproductive and aimless. Like I'm just saying, I can't. And I am what I am, and I'm from the other side. Okay? I'm from the other side. I don't know what you want to call that, but it's that little slither of middle class values. And it happens to be that I grew up in a white utopia, and that's where the fuck I am. And I'm not going to be able to move. As much as I try, I can't motherfucking move from it. And I am so blessed to have found friends and associates and other blacks like myself. So I ain't got to be no coon and want to be the white man and suck the white man's cock and make him feel good because it ain't all white men that we talking about here. Do y'all think, like the brother was talking about, he was talking about, oh, it's all these, oh, they're going in there, they're river rafting and stuff. These hillbillies ain't doing none of that fancy shit. This is the upper middle class. I don't think he quite understands. I don't know, but I don't think he gets it. I really don't. It's a slither of America. It ain't everybody. It's simply not. It's not whiteness. It's not whiteness. I think if more black people had access to those type of environments, the burbs, where there's order and stuff like that, you would see more. Like the way I grew up, there were blacks that were like us. And we find each other. And that's how we become a tribe. We don't have to want to be white. We don't have to marry white to have that slice, that slither of American goodness. You don't have to. You ain't got to be white to get it. Because there's all these other white people out here in America that ain't got it and don't know nothing about it. And I'm not saying that's better. I'm not fucking rich. And I'm not poor. I got a professional, educated person's middle class mentality of order and planning and productivity. That's simple. Just that fucking simple. It ain't nothing deep about it. That's what I fucking know. That's what I come from. That's it. It ain't white. It's not whiteness. This country would look different. It would be fucking better if everybody was in that, but they're not. Most of these motherfuckers are poor. They're uneducated. They're aimless. They doing bullshit out here, just like the black folks too. So it's unfortunate to me. I relate to some of the shit they're saying, but I mostly am enjoying the fact that they are trying so hard to be that which I naturally am inclined to, and it's all I know. And I can't be different than that as try as I might. But they struggle and they're trying to figure it out the same way I'm trying to figure out what so-called black culture is. Now, I ain't trying to learn black culture because I want to be part of it. I just think it's interesting, just like they think that this so-called, white utopia culture, middle class white utopia culture is interesting. So all this stuff he was talking about Mozart and listening to certain types of music, I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of like it's funny because it's like a bastardization. It's kind of like he's stereotyping a lot of shit. And it's like if that's what you know, that's just what you know. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? And I think in a professional, educated, middle class travel and exposure and all this stuff, it comes natural. Like when I was in high school, it was understood that, like, 16, 17 years old, you go to Europe, you go to Paris, you go to Italy. Like that's normal. Your parents would take you on trips to Europe. It's not a fucking big deal. It's just how you grow up. You travel. You go see different shit. It's just part of your culture. And I don't know. But see, it's so confusing because I'm wondering if I grew up in the so-called ghetto, if I grew up poor, would I see the other side that I already come from? Would I see that shit in the stereotypical ways that they do? Would I? Would I? And I was just listening to him describe how, like, this order and the interests and stuff like that. And I was just like, man, wow. It just seems so stereotypical. From you can just tell somebody's an outsider looking at something else. That's what I'm trying to say. They're kind of struggling to understand so they can get closer to something they don't know. That's what the coons are doing. It's foreign as fuck to them. All of this stuff. It's like high ideals, but the shit is so foreign to them. And I mean, and the funny thing is, I hear some of them talking, right? I hear some of these guys, and they think they're coons, and I'm hearing them talk, and I'm just like, ooh, you can just even tell some of their skill. And I'm not talking about all of them because I'm not trying to stir nobody up, but there's particular ones, and you'd be like, man, this person is so ghetto. How are you ever going to get anywhere close to Um, it's ghetto, violent. You can tell that there's some, what is the word? Degeneracy underneath the surface, a sense of chaos. I detect it, right? I'm not talking about all. Please don't think I'm talking about all. I'm just talking about there's a few, and I'd be like, "Oh, you in the wrong spot. You ain't gonna never fit in this box. Like you don't. You ain't gonna fit the mold. You can talk that shit because you entertaining yourself, but the real space that exists, you ain't gonna be in there. You can't. You don't match. You don't match. You will never be part of that. You can just tell. And so I don't know. And like I said, I'm not a snob. I'm simply a brown person who grew up on the white middle class professional utopia where there is order and dignity and high expectations and productivity. It is what it is. And the culture that comes with that, the travel, the high ideals. Like I said, I had went to a high school and we did not have fights. We did not have teen pregnancy. All this crazy shit. Matter of fact, when I moved to Atlanta, I went I got my own. See, that's what I'm talking about. My parents got a divorce. And you know what I did? Like the white kids, I went and got my own what do you call it? My own power of attorney. And that some old white ass shit to do. I went and got my own guardianship. I sure did at 17. And I decided, was I 16 or 17? I can't remember. I decided that I was going to be an adult and I took my own guardianship. I had seen other people from my community, other, white folks do that. Um, and so that's what I did. I got my own guardianship. And so I came and I was like, I'm leaving, I'm out. I'm not dealing with either one of y'all. Neither one of my parents when they decided they wanted to divorce. I was like, what? I was like 17. They decided they were gonna divorce. And so I hiked my ass on to Atlanta. I had some family living here. And I enrolled into high school. And I went in there, you know, and I said, what the whole fuck is this shit? What the whole fuck is this shit? I had not been exposed to nothing but um, people who have a sense of order, students who are respectful, or orderly school with lots of resources. The high school I went to, I mean, it was like a fucking university. The quality of the education, just everything. It was like night and day. I walked in there. I said, "Oh, what the fuck is this shit?" It was like I was in a nightmare. Y'all, I didn't last 1 month. I went, I told them I got to withdraw. I can't be here. I don't like these people. I don't know what's going on. I don't like the way they talk to the teachers. I got to go. I got to go. And I withdrew from that school and I said, I'll try another one. And I went to that school and I said, oh, I don't like this. I don't like these people. I don't like the way they talk to the teachers. And I had was it I had came in, I had a class, and the guys came in. It was like 3 or 4 of them with dreadlocks, and they was smoking marijuana, and they came in the classroom smelling like marijuana, and they sat down. And that was the day I decided. I was sitting in the class, supposed to learn something, and the teacher was fussing at them because they came in smelling like marijuana. And this was a habit, and I got to deal with this every day. I got to sit by these guys who come in late and they smell like marijuana because they've been smoking over there on the other side of the building. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to do this. These people are scary to me. I got to go. So you know what I did? I called the GED hotline, and I told them, I said, y'all know what? I'm done. I'm ready to go to college. I ain't doing high school no more. Fuck this shit. Because I can withdraw myself because I'm my own guardian, right? And I withdrew the second time because I didn't like the environment. And I realized that was just fucking how it is around here in Atlanta. I was like, man, fuck this shit. You gotta understand now. I come from private school. I can't do this. I can't do this. So um I decided to go get my GD. And it was like, oh, well, you should take some classes and you should do this and I'm not doing shit. What's the address? I'll be there in 2 days. Let me sign up for the next class. They was like, ma'am, I don't request it. No, they said, I don't suggest it. That you try to take all four tests. Most people need classes. They need to get some. I said, ma'am, I have made it through the age of 16, 17 in high school. I promise you I have enough skills and I will take all four tests on the same fucking day, and I'm gonna be done because I'm about to enroll in college. I got to go. I took both tests, all four tests. I think it took 2 weeks for me to get the results back. I already had my applications to Spelman and Agnes Scott College. No, was it Agnes Scott College? No, not at that point. I had my application to Spelman, and I think it was I met applied to Georgia State. Agnes Scott came later after I got into the honor society. I had my applications ready. I'm not staying around for this shit. I'm not sitting around here with these ghetto ass people. What the fuck? I'm not doing this. I'm scared. I'm too scared to learn. I'm too fucking scared to learn. I can't be here. They disrespecting custom teachers and shit. I can't do this. Right? I came here. I was scared as fuck because I'm from the burbs and I ain't seen shit. Even that gay shit, I hadn't seen that shit. All this trans and all this weird ass shit, I ain't seen none of that shit. Everybody around me got a mama and a daddy. They got a nice house. They in sports after school. Everybody wear the same fucking outfit. The house look like Edward Scissorhands. Don't nothing happen on the fucking news because ain't no violence. Ain't nobody broke into shit. I'm talking about zero crime. You leave your fucking front door open. We was like a utopia like Canada. Okay. Don't nothing happen there. Boring as fuck. Okay. Boring. Fucking band is lame. Okay. Football team sucks because it's all white. They did good in baseball though. And soccer. But basketball and shit, man. Y'all look it up. Evans High School. Shit lame. Evans, Georgia. Suburbs like a motherfucker. Okay. If you ain't got no money, your ass ain't finna live there. Fuck that. You can't afford Evans. Anyway. Yeah, Columbia County is, I think, the third highest income, or maybe second highest income county in, average household income in Georgia. Yeah. And I mean, truth to be told, most of the time you got dad as his own practice. He's a physician or something, MCG. Mom's a nurse or mom's a dentist, you know, pretty much. Or your dad works as an engineer and your mom's a nurse. Plant Vogel. I don't know if y'all heard of Plant Vogel. So that's how that go. That's how that go. Everybody, mama and their daddy got some money. They working hard, professionals. So yeah, as I was saying that to say that what was I talking about before that? But yeah, so I went and got my GED because I couldn't take that crazy ass environment. So yeah, I got a GED. And I was like, I'm going to college. Fuck this high school shit. Cause I can't even last a year around these motherfuckers. I can't do it. I'm supposed to transfer high school. I can't do it. This is a bad environment. I was scared. I was too scared. And I was chicken shit. I was like, oh no, no, no. My mentality just could not understand. I was too bombarded with stuff that I couldn't understand. You know what I mean? It was weird shit. I'm understanding now because I'm 46. I've been here for a while. I've had exposure to all kinds of black people and black culture as it comes in different forms. I've had exposure now. I can understand. But then I was 17. I could not for the life of me understand what I was looking at. It's like a fish out of fucking water. I would be on the bus and I'd be looking at people. I know people probably thought I was crazy. I'd be looking at people crazy. I'm on the MARTA bus like, what the fuck is this shit? Some of the stuff I would see people do, how they would behave, I was just like, ooh, I was cringing all the time, you know? I was fucking cringing all the time. It was tough, y'all. And for a time, I mean, because I was staying with my cousin, I'm be honest, I got an exposure to poverty. I had to go, y'all. I had to go to a laundromat. I had to go to the fucking laundromat. That shit. Oh my God, the laundromat was devastating for me. The laundromat was horrible. I just certain stuff I don't need to. That shit is motivation. Okay, that shit is motivation. The laundromat was my motivation to keep my shit and get my shit together to get through college. That laundromat was traumatic for me. I really had hours and time to sit around with certain type of shit and see certain stuff. And I wasn't in no bad ghetto now. I wasn't in no bad, like I wasn't in like Simpson Road or Bankhead. I had enough sense not to go to no damn crazy, crazy ass hood. Okay. I wasn't doing that. I just saying that my norm and the type of shit, like just like in Evans, we don't even have like laundromats. That shit doesn't exist. Why would there be a laundromat there? Everybody has 300, 400, $500,000 houses and up. Why would there be a laundromat? For what? For who? Who gonna use it? You got washer and dryer. You got laundry room in your house. Like there, some shit like that don't exist, right? You know, it's a lot of stuff that just didn't exist there. We didn't. We don't have. Still haven't in Evans, Columbia County. There is no housing authority because there ain't no welfare system. Who? Who in that county gonna need welfare food stamp? Who? They might have a health department and added some shit, FD, was it family children FX or whatever the fuck that is. They may have added that to the health department or something in the government now, but there is no like sitting projects. There's nothing. There's no affordable housing there. There's nothing. Because if you can't afford to live in a house, you're not living there, period. If you're not building a house and moving into the pre-built houses and communities, your ass is not living in that county. There ain't nowhere for you to go. It ain't for you. They don't got no affordable housing or nothing like that. They don't need it. And um, my mother was the one who established the Democratic Party in Columbia County. She was the president, the chairwoman. Yeah. So there wasn't even that. There was no Democratic. There's only Republican. My mother created Democratic Party of Columbia County, first one, first chairman. Yeah. She established and built it out. There was none before that. So I say that to say strivers are gonna strive no matter what color they are. I peer into the great divide and I know I'm on the other side and it's all right. It's all right. But I just find that I have to I just have to watch it. I just have to watch it and see and be entertained where I can and just be in awe and places where I don't relate. I just be like, wow, wow. So I enjoy listening to these so-called Coons escape the hood. That's what I. This is the tale of the Coons escaping the hood. I think that's what this is. It's the struggle to escape the hood and the hood mentality, and the stereotypes that they have brewed up around it. Very, very interesting shit. It's interesting. So I'm just rambling today. I've been talking for an hour and a half, but these are my thoughts. Um, and I think at the end of the day, people are people, right? I travel the world. I see a lot of shit. I see different forms of poverty and I see different forms of wealth. I intend to go to Saudi Arabia and Qatar as well as Istanbul. Well, I ain't going to Istanbul no more. I don't think I want to fuck around over there. I, yeah, I'm gonna go to Qatar and I'm gonna go to Saudi Arabia. That's my next step. And I had a sister from Saudi Arabia yesterday. She was giving me some advice. She was telling me I can use this thing called Sara, Sara, which is a, a bridge for Americans who want to go to Saudi Arabia. And I don't really need that because I know how to travel. She's probably thinking I'm like the average woman who's afraid to go alone and needs all this guidance and support. I don't need it. I'm good. I am a world traveler who travels by myself as a woman, undefeated and unafraid. And so I can handle Saudi Arabia myself, by myself. So I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia and I'm going to go to Qatar. That's my goal, not 2025, because I am actually taking a serious break because this economy sucks like ass. I'm taking a serious break. I'm pumping all money into the business to squeeze new juice out of new oranges. I am absolutely disgusted. And I mean disgusted with this economy. I have never seen anything like it. As a businesswoman, the things I'm doing, the income I'm generating, I should be in a way better like numbers place based on all the energy I'm putting out. And it is only because this economy fucking sucks. And only somebody who can look at their numbers for the past few years can see this motherfucking shit sucks. I'm like a rabid fucking dog, okay? I'm mad about this shit. I'm mad. I'm really pissed about it. I have never ever felt the pull and tug until this motherfucking year. I have done equally well under Democrat and Republican. My whole life has been nothing but ascension, going up, 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 and getting better every fucking year. 2023, it was a downward fucking plunge, and it's been nothing but that since. I've been paddling and fighting the fucking water, and it is hard to stay afloat. That's all I'm going to tell you. It's hard to stay afloat. And when I say afloat, I'm not talking about I'm about to go into poverty. That's not what the fuck I mean. I'm not nowhere near poverty. I'm not going down. I'm talking about I'm supposed to be flying right now. Imagine that. You normally just swim, right? Real easy. You float, it's easy. You can fly if you want to. Right now, right now, the way this economy is in business, there is no fucking floating. Easy breezy flow. There is none. You are fighting the water. And the way that you're fighting that water just to stay above the water and not go down and drown, the way you're doing that, if you was doing that type of energy, you should be flying high, super fucking high near the sky, far, far up and away, doing good, excelling, high levels of productivity. This shit don't make no sense. I'm trying to tell y'all, shit is folding left and right. People ain't paying attention, man. People ain't paying attention. I'm seeing businesses, commercial businesses. I'm seeing all kind of businesses that have been well established fucking folding. I'm talking about small moms and pops, been around 20 fucking years, folding. My accountant said he's losing accounts. Everybody's folding. Motherfuckers is throwing in the towel, liquidating, selling, doing something different. It's not nice, man. It's not nice. These motherfuckers is trying to kill the middle class. You hear me? But I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. And so the luxury of travel is dead for me 2024, 2025. I will get in the sky in 2026 and not a day before. I'm sacrificing, I'm building thirst for myself. I'm staying highly motivated. If I travel, I won't get thirsty. And I can't keep this shit up. I got to stay hungry. I got to. And not traveling will get me real hungry. So I have given myself the trip of a lifetime to Qatar and Saudi Arabia over at the end of this 2026. Normally, that's some shit I do easily, effortlessly, without thinking. Just go. Like my husband, he get up sometime. I'm going to Cuba, May. Okay, bye, Pooh. May I'm going to goddamn Brazil. Okay, Pooh, bye. See you when you get back. Easy. Just go. I'm denying myself. And I'm investing the money I would have taken to travel. I'm denying myself to build a thirst and a hunger. Cause I gotta fight. My husband, he stay motivated. I can't stay motivated when I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really motivated when I can't see the results. When you fight, 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 and you just floating, that shit ain't cool. Just above the water, that shit ain't cool, man. Ain't cool. America ain't built on that. America can't sustain on that. Okay. We work hard for ourselves to see fucking results, not to break fucking even. How long you gonna break even and keep doing it? Answer that. Answer that shit. Man, please. Anyway, I am, let me see, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just say the book is I'm Still Here. It's called Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness by Austin Channing. I'm gonna read this one little part from the book. The Souls of Black Folk is just a paragraph to end this out. After the Egyptian and the Indian, the Greek and the Roman, the Teuton and the Mongolian, the Negro is a sort of seventh son, born with the veil and gifted with the second sight in this American world, a world which yields him no true self consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the revelation of the other world. It is a peculiar sensation, this double consciousness, this sense of always looking at oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, two unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, whose dogged strength alone keeps it from being torn asunder. This is my dilemma. I'm still here. Black dignity in the world made for whiteness. Ashe. All right. Peace, peace, peace.